It's summertime again, and time for one of the greatest things that happens every year around here for many, many decades, and that is the concerts by the Peoria Municipal Band. They happen in two places in Peoria now, and the entertainment will be wonderful as it always is, and as it always is, it's free. One of the nicest things that you and your family can come to. And here with me today to talk about the upcoming season and what's going to be happening are two great people who have a lot to do with it. Dr. David Vroman, of course, who is our wonderful director of the band, and this year we're going to meet one of the soloists. We always have great, talented soloists, and Emily Volz, who you've heard before, I'm sure, in many cases, is going to tell us about her experience as a soloist with the band and her future as a young singer and what she's doing now and how she's becoming a professional person. So let's find out first about the band and its season. And one of the things that has been most interesting for the band and for its audience has been that we're now playing down on Water Street, down in the warehouse section, and we're going to do it again this year. Isn't that right, Dave?
We are. We're all set to return back down to Water Street. That was something that started one year kind of as an experiment, and then we found out that it's an attractive venue in many different ways. It's very casual, and at the same time, the band sounds great down there. We have terrific hosts in Kelleher's down there, takes care of us right down there on the corner. And so we're going to return back down there again for a number of concerts. Those are where most of our Wednesday evening concerts will be, 7 p.m.
And the parking is good, it's convenient, and of course it's free. So nothing is going to cost you a thing unless you'd like to eat there. But
That's
you
right.
could eat and enjoy the performance.
You could. And there is seating that is provided when you
Tables
come down.
and chairs.
Tables and chairs are there. Or if you would prefer to be in your own lawn chair, you can sit outside that venue a little bit, just along the railroad tracks right there. That's the other feature that we have. And so it's right next to your car. It's right next to where the band plays. And it's a great venue. It's really turned out to be something special.
If you're a regular of the Peoria Municipal Band, one of the things that you like to keep in the car are a couple of folding seats.
That is very
Lawn
true.
chairs are one of the best things that you could have. So that's what you see showing up with people having those in hand. Of course, you could bring your own food, I guess, down there too and eat outside the eating area on the folding chairs on the other side of the tracks if you'd like to. So it'll be a regular list of performances down on Water Street.
Right. Every Wednesday evening that becomes our home. There is one exception now this year, one different venue on a Wednesday night, and that's when we play on the grounds of the Riverfront Museum. So the new museum down there, that's the only exception to our schedule. That particular one takes place on June the 12th. But starting on June the 5th, we'll be down there on Water Street.
And that's always at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Performance time is 7 o'clock for all of the performances. There's plenty of daylight left when you want to do that. Well, now we haven't talked at all about performances at the Amphitheater, Glen Oak Park, which is the great traditional pastoral location for the band. And we will be there again this year, won't we?
We will on Sunday evenings. And if we set out to develop a venue to play in, I mean, it's tough to come up with those 100-year-old oak trees and things like that.
Is.
So
it's
actually,
timeless.
it is, and it's a beautiful setting. So the band shell is there, and the lagoon and the Park District takes good care of their grounds there. And again, convenient parking, easy to get in, and people have a choice. There are park benches there as well, or they can bring a blanket, throw it out on the grass, bring their lawn chairs. And it's a family-friendly event. We really promote that for families, and especially for young children, because it's a venue in which nobody needs to sit too stoically and too quietly. People enjoy listening, they'll read a book, they find many different ways to enjoy the music that the band's performing. But it's a great venue and for everyone of all ages.
Of course, the parking is very convenient, very close. There are two parking lots, the upper and the lower lots. Walk a short distance and you're in. And if you forget your folding chairs, as you said, Dave, those park benches are reasonably comfortable and you can enjoy it. And also, the Peoria Park District concession stand will be in operation.
That's right.
I'm sure. So if you want to get a few treats at the concession stand, you can do that at intermission or even during the performance. This is probably one of the most informal types of venues I think there is, which is part of its appeal.
I think so, because it's nice and people can come and go. And so we'll have parents with young families who may come for the first half and then head for home to put their children to bed. We have others that will stay the whole time, or maybe you work and you show up a little bit late. But it's the kind of venue that, you know, it's a very comfortable setting for everyone that's there.
Now, one of the things that's going to make these performances so great will be the vocalists, the soloists, who will be singing and performing with the band this year. And we are delighted to have one of them with us right now. Dave, would you introduce Emily for us, please?
I'd be glad to. Emily Volz is a Metamora native, went to Metamora High School, attended Bradley University, recent graduate of Bradley University. And she has a job, which is the next best part after graduating from the university, and she'll be the choral director at Metamora Township High School coming up in the fall. But she's performed with the band, and she is somebody who is a nice representative of typically the type of vocal soloists that we have. They're very well trained, they have experience, they're very good at what they do, they're very talented, and we're happy to have her singing with the band again this summer.
Emily, we're tickled to have you here right now, too. Why did you decide to be a vocalist? How did that start for you?
Well, I got a very nice invitation last year. I had actually sang with the band once when I was very small. My piano and vocal teacher, when I was very young, was singing, and we decided to
So you started vocal lessons at what age?
Oh, piano at 5 and vocal lessons maybe around 8 or 9. It's hard to remember.
So early on, you decided you wanted to be a singer.
Yes, I loved musical theater and performing, and that was one of my first opportunities. I think I did a little solo from The Lion King with my voice teacher up on the stage. So I have very fond memories of going, and I would attend as a child too with my grandparents and my parents. We went a few times to listen. So, but last summer I did my first performance, and unfortunately it rained, so we only made it halfway through. So I'm hoping for better weather this summer.
That does happen.
Yes, so that's the only disadvantage to being outside. Can't get your instruments wet, but otherwise it's a great opportunity.
Now, what are your playing dates this year? So
I will
people
be
who are watching
singing
can-
on August 5th, I believe.
August 7th and 11th.
7th and 11th. Why did I think it was the 5th?
The last week. Emily's going to help us close out the season.
Oh, very
yes.
good.
So,
Well, now, how do you decide what you're going to sing for these performances? Do you work with Dave, and how does that happen?
you can work together to pick something out, or I'm going to use one of the songs I've performed earlier with the band and bring that one back out, and the rest are secrets. They're going to be a surprise since I'm ending the season, but last summer we worked together to find some literature that was fun, light music, great for a Sunday evening. So.
Now, how do you handle this type of venue? You're singing in a live performance at a massive size park area. What is that a neat thing? Tell us how that is for a vocalist.
It's very neat. It can be a little scary because you haven't worked with the stage and the microphone before, but we have great professionals there that can take care of the sound, and you just kind of go and see what happens.
Now, you're going to sing both at Water Street and at Glen
Yes.
Oak.
Yes.
Very good.
So I'm excited to sing down on Water Street. I didn't get to do that last summer, so.
So this will be your
Yes,
first
this will be
time.
my first time down there on the riverfront.
Well, Dave, how do you? We have a lot of vocalists this year. How many will there be? Have you got them all lined up?
We have them all lined up, at least one, sometimes two singers for each of the weeks. And Peoria is an area that just has a lot of talent. As you know, there's a very active music scene here in Peoria. And so we actually have more singers than we can accommodate each summer. And so some of those singers that come back will be those crowd favorites that people have been familiar with for many years, Dirk McGinnis and Lee Wenger and Rebecca Borland. And some new singers this year as well, just like Emily was a new singer last season. Katie McLuckie is going to come and sing with us, and Colleen Longo is going to come and sing, and she's out of Bloomington. So we have auditions for those. To be a singer, you're selected through an audition process, and we have a number of people that are very well qualified, and it's really too bad our season doesn't run year-round to be able to accommodate everybody.
Well, I'm glad Lee is going to again, who's also a member of the band commission.
He is.
And we watched him at commission meetings as he grew his beard for Tevye, for Fiddler on the Roof, in which he had what has to be described as a triumphant performance. He was wonderful as Tevye. And I'm wondering, Emily, Have you done some theater like that, musical theater?
Yes, there's a great amount of local community theaters, and I did that a lot when I was younger. And then I even did a little bit of theater in Chicago.
Did you?
For the American Girl Theater, which is no longer in business. When I was younger, and then
has to be exciting to perform in Chicago.
Oh, it was very
my.
exciting.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 12.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm very grateful to my parents for letting me and giving me that opportunity. But then, as soon as I got to Bradley, I really focused just on my vocal performance and music education, and I didn't do as much acting. But I'm looking forward to maybe getting back into that as soon as I settle into.
So you do
career.
like that?
I love it. Yes.
Well, there were several very good female voices in fiddler too, and so and with your wonderful voice, maybe there'll be more opportunities for you now that you're a graduate.
Right. I hope so. A little less busy, hopefully.
It will be interesting to see how your students in choral at Metamora will react when they find out that you are a very fine vocalist and have sung for years and years. Maybe you will help encourage some other singers
I sure hope so.
to take part. Yes. Well, speaking of talent, we've been talking about the Peoria Municipal Band and what a great talent they are as a unit and then separately as well as musicians, but we haven't heard them yet. And when we do these programs, it just wouldn't be right if we didn't. So let's hear a number from our great Peoria Municipal Band as recorded by a very fine photographer himself last year at a location either down on Water Street or at the amphitheater. terrific as usual, and we'll get more of the same. And please join us when those concerts begin at the amphitheater at Glen Oak Park or down on Water Street. And speaking of those performances, how many are there, Dave? What's the schedule for this year?
Well, this year there'll be 23 concerts altogether when we include Memorial Day. So each year, that's a tradition, we're always included in the Memorial Day services that take place down on the riverfront. And then after that, we begin our first concert at Glen Oak. We'll be on Sunday evening, June the 2nd. And then the season will run every Sunday and Wednesday all the way up through August 11th. There's one run-out concert this year on a Friday evening. We'll be at St. Philomena's Church on Friday, July 26th as well. And all the concerts throughout the season begin at 7.
I really enjoy the play-out that we have every year at St. Philomena's because it's a neighborhood event. And people just walk from their homes with their chairs and things. And there are some chairs that are set up already to take part, although it's open to everybody. It's a wonderful neighborhood event that only the Peoria Municipal Band could really carry off, I think. It was a very successful event.
It is, and what's interesting about that, turn of the century when Peoria had several municipal bands that were very active, that's a very similar procedure to what would have happened back during that time. People would have made their way to the performance, and nowadays we get so busy with the things we do inside our homes. It's great to have things in the city that bring us out and bring us together, and that's a perfect example of what bands have done traditionally for many years.
I'm not sure that they had something so wonderful as Dudley's Ice Cream Stand. They're a neighbor of St. Phil's, and they show up with a little temporary stand, and we all get to have some of that wonderful ice cream. A nice little added incentive to people like me that have a sweet tooth. Well, of course, one of the biggest performances, of course, is the Memorial Day performance, the 4th of July performance. Can you tell us about that a little bit and what makes that special, Dave?
Well, I think anytime we celebrate our country, it's a special occasion. And this year, the Morton Civic Chorus will be featured at that event, which opens the door to some of the choral pieces. And typically, we've had soloists in the past, vocal soloists, and this time we're going to use, a larger stable of singers all at the same time. And so that is that week we play strictly American music. We try and remember the heritage that our country has from a musical standpoint, and celebrate that all throughout that week.
I know you're a big fan of John Philip Sousa, so I imagine more than one Sousa number will be played.
I think that's probably going to happen, yes.
Well, our concert audiences are a wonderful bunch of people. And last year we decided we'd go out with our camera and talk to them. And we did. And we got some wonderful comments from these great folks. Let's hear what they had to say about why they attend our Peoria Municipal Band concerts.
We're both lovers of music, and we just can't think of a better place to come than on Sunday night than here, and here the great outdoors with a great director of Dr. Vroman bringing us the very best in music.
I love coming to the band concerts because great music, and my daughter, I just had a baby, and so this would be a place for her to grow up and support local art.
Well, what better way to end a weekend and ease into the new week than to sit outside on a Sunday night and listen to some music. It's the end of a perfect weekend.
We really haven't talked specifically about the band itself yet and how they come to be. The band, Dave, has been around for how long now, the Peoria Municipal Band?
This will be our 76th season since it's been funded by the city of Peoria.
76 years. And it's a sizable aggregation. How many members do you have an average number that you hit?
We have a specific number that we use. We have 50 members in the band, so it's a fairly large concert band, and each of those members are selected through an audition process. And some of them have played for many, many years. I mean, longer than I've been the director of the band. Many of them have played. And some of them are they come from all walks of life. It's an interesting group. So you have many college students, you have some music teachers, you have stay-at-home moms, you have engineers, you have a really wide-ranging background. But the one thing they all share, of course, they're very excellent musicians and they love to be a part of a band. In addition to those 50 regular members, then there's a list of almost 100 other folks here in this area who act as substitute members, so those regular members can get their summer vacation time in. So if they leave for vacation, then we have a sub that will come in and play. So we stay intact with that number of 50, except for when we do run-out concerts. Memorial Day is what we call a mini band, so it's smaller. It's about half that size. St. Philomena is about half that size. But all the others will be a full concert band, and it's great to have that instrumentation. It opens the door to all the different music that we enjoy doing.
You know, most of the audience aren't musicians. So it might be interesting if you tell us a little bit about the instrumentation of a band. What are the instruments in a band? Why are they there? And how many are there of the different sections in a band?
You know, it's even interesting that the band instrumentation itself really wasn't settled until, kind of around the 1930s, 1940s. There were still disagreements. So the symphony orchestra had been around forever, and we agreed on that, and the choral organizations, we agreed on that. And the band kind of got settled down during that time, so only for the past 70 years or so. Three big groups that are part of the band. We have the percussion section, so that'd be your timpani and bass drum, snare drum, your mallet instruments. Then we have a woodwind section, and from high to low, you'd go from piccolo, the highest instrument, down to the flute, and through the double reeds, oboe, bassoon. We have clarinets, 3 parts on the clarinets, and then a bass clarinet. We have a saxophone section, an alto, tenor, and bari sax, and so that's our woodwind section. Then you have a brass section that's in that band as well. So we have trumpets and cornets that are involved in there, 4 horns, French horns. We have trombones, euphoniums, tubas, and you put all that together and the music is arranged for that, and then you are able to enjoy the concerts that we put on throughout the summer.
A lot of concerts require a lot of music. And I'm sure that responsibility of selection falls on you. How do you decide every year what you're going to play, and where does all that music come from?
Well, selecting music is the most fun and also the scariest part about what we do, because what we want to do is we want people to come and really enjoy a concert. So when you put a concert together, there's a little bit about pacing. You can't just have a concert and play all slow music or a concert and play all fast music. There has to be some contrast. And you wouldn't want a concert maybe that was just all one style. So to some degree, we will come up with a theme, and for that theme, it'll help focus a little bit on what we might play at that concert, but not everything has to fit that. So we're really looking at kind of a pacing, and that even involves the length of a piece. You know, it could be a 10-minute piece followed by a short 2-minute piece. So we go through that, and we have a terrific librarian. Angie Carrier is the one that puts all that music in all those folders, because every individual musician has that music in advance and has their own folder to be able to prepare for rehearsal and performance. And so Angie will meet with the vocal soloist. She puts the music together for the entire band, and we plan out our concerts. We rehearse and then perform. It's a busy time.
Do you ever take a request from someone? Would you, if they're interested in some particular piece that they think you've done well before, perhaps?
Absolutely. With 50 people in the band, we don't take requests like some show bands do on
Not
the drop of a hat.
spontaneously, of course. No, that would be impossible.
But we have played things that people have requested and asked, and songs that they remembered or were special to them, and we will sneak those in whenever we can. So, you know, we encourage people to do that. If they visit our website, for example, www.Peoria Municipal Band, they can sign up there and get notification. Then they also have an email address to be able to make those kinds of suggestions as well.
And there are schedules that will be available for free at the concerts. Those are handed out. Yes,
and we hand out a schedule that has all the locations. It has all the soloists listed and what the themes will be. And the soloists, the vocal soloists, but also those solos that will feature instrumentalists from the band as well, and sometimes sections of the band. So that's a long time tradition with this group, the fact that we use vocal soloists and the fact that we use instrumental soloists. That's been going on way since the beginning of this group getting started. So it's one that we're really proud to carry on.
Sometimes unusual things happen at the concerts. I know one that I get a kick out of are the spontaneous dancers. We occasionally get some folks who are actually fairly accomplished dancing. There is a reasonably flat surface down in front of the band, and they do dance, don't they?
They do. And then that's one of the things that I think the band members themselves enjoy the most, and especially even about being down on Water Street. When we're at Glen Oak Park, there is that large space, which is really nice for the dancers, but it also creates a distance between the band members and the audience themselves. And when we're on Water Street, the audience is right there.
Yes.
So I think the thing that we've enjoyed about being in both venues is there's a different sense and a different feeling about both those venues. And of course, we do some different things as a result of that too. When we have space at Glen Oak Park, we're able to invite the Civil War dancers to come and perform and do something a little more formal. Or Gym Corner, you know, the gymnasts that come from Washington, Illinois, and they set up all their mats right in the front, and we play some circus music, and we feature some of them doing their gymnastic stunts. So those are things that we can do at Glen Oak that we can't do downtown. But there's a different feel to both those two venues that we try and really use to our benefit.
I want to thank you two for being such wonderful guests today. You've helped us all get even a little more excited about a wonderful season that's ahead for the Peoria Municipal Band, playing at Glen Oak Park, of course, and then also down on Water Street. I hope, and we all genuinely invite you to join us for the great concerts of the Peoria Municipal Band.